one, I was immensely proud of it as a series. I think it's a great show. And the other thing, I think, is the journey of the characters. You know, from episode 1, the very first episode, seeing Danny Blue arrive, and then in, you know, episode 6, seeing Danny Blue in Vegas, leading a crew, pulling off, you know, a huge con all on his own. You know, it was just great. AMC took up Hustle, started running it on their channel out there, and it's done really well. Got some great reviews, and it just did really well for them. And it was cool, because when I'm out there, it's fantastic, because you see these huge billboards, you know, on the Sunset Strip, like Hustle. It's fantastic. So yeah, it was a great tie-in with them, and one of the things they said to us was, you know, do you want to come and shoot something in the States? We couldn't refuse.
Trying to be cool enough, wasn't it? See? Yeah.
I've got a famous line in the scene. I say we go and find this sucker and mash him up.
There you go.
How good is that?
That?
LA in English.
About 10 away.
All right.
Hey, babe.
She loves me. She loves me.
Here we are in Sun Valley, California. It's 9:20. And they've already been shooting for a couple of hours.
Pictures up, quiet, please.
On Hustle Series 4. We're here at Cadillac Jack's. Beautiful, authentic 50s diner. Cast will turn up. Everything's in full flow. We're yet to go inside. They're really busy. They've got a 15-minute turnaround on each shot. So we're going to go inside in a little while and see how they're doing.
The next shot starts here. And ends up here. Underslung with a character that comes in and sits down.
Okay.
The following shot, we flip the room to the other side, and it's a wide shot to this character that sat down, that now we'll see him, who it is, and how bad he's going to do to our heroes.
When I first heard that, that Hustle was going to be shot in the States, I thought, fantastic, that's the right place for it to be. It's such an American-inspired show, such an American-influenced show. I thought they'll be right at home.
Roll cameras. And action.
And he recognised him. I said we go and find this sucker and mash him up.
No, he's a good guy. He was just doing his job. He told his boss who I was, and it was his boss who decided to teach me a lesson.
And who is this boss?
I don't know. He said it was the father to his boss, which was out of band from every place in the strip for one time. I don't know who it is.
Well, whoever he is, he's about to.
Cut! Yeah, that's cut. Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed.
There was a time, it's the same for Mark Warren as well, there was a time when we were filming just under the Hollywood sign. Right. And we were all there, all crew were there. And there was a sequence, and it involved Robert Vaughn and Robert Wagner, and I needed to go up and talk to them. And just for that few moments, going up and looking at Robert Vaughn, looking at Robert Wagner, looking at that Hollywood sign, and I've got to direct these two, what am I going to say? I did actually become quite tongue-tied at the time, but it was really, really, really fantastic, because I think they knew. They looked at me and I looked at them, and they looked at me and I looked at them, and they must have thought, this guy better say something soon, because he knows what he's here for. But they really made it a lot of fun.
Look, if we could shut the casino down somehow,
Maybe he give us time to work on the machine, maybe. But I got 2 emergency power units. We can't cut into the CCTV anywhere, and the money's in full view all the time. I mean, there's no way it can be done. I mean, I've always sort of seen Ash as a bit of an enigma, really, and part of his function within that family sort of group is a sort of benign uncle and always there with an ear to listen or a shoulder to cry on. But, I mean, part of his attraction for me is that you don't know that much about him. That I mean, I think in the first series you knew that he had a wife who was in hospital and that part of the money that the gang earned went to pay her hospital fees. Who is this? Scott. Scott, this is Harry Kaplan in Customer Services. Yeah, listen, we screwed up big time. Yeah, I got people up here punching holes in the walls. Yeah, okay. Now, there was a reservation taken for the British Embassy, all right? Is it on your computer? Oh, Jesus. Okay, listen up. This is for your ears only, okay? Not your co-workers, not your family, not for the person you choose to sleep with. Do you understand me? The longer the series has gone on, the more he's got involved playing the inside, so he is quite good at accents. He is quite good at assuming other people's, assuming personality in disguises and stuff like that. So I think he's become more active in that sense. But I think probably he's most comfortable as the backroom boy, really. Although I think when he gets given his head, he goes for it, and he's as capable of coming up with the goods as anybody else.
Ash, you shake the man's hand. Stacey, you can pay him.
See, back in London, they don't know about me. I got 7-foot billboards all over Leicester Square. Naked, top off and all sorts. Oh, you shut up, all right? I'm gonna hook up with my agent on Thursday and go and have lunch, you know? Probably McD's, Burger King. Spend all the money on me.
It's kind of one of those good news, bad news things, really. Good news is AMC were going to give us funding to go and shoot some episodes in the States, which was great. And the bad news is we weren't going to have Adrian Lester. He was shooting a pilot out there. So we knew that we weren't going to have him available for that series. And it was really difficult because he'd been the driving force from the very first episode. And I realised that we had to change that dynamic within the show, quite dramatically. And I had a choice, really. It was either replace Mickey and that by putting someone else at the top end, or to shuffle everybody up and put someone in at the bottom end. And I thought that Mickey as a character was irreplaceable. So we did it that way. We shuffled everybody up and then put someone in at the bottom.
We got somebody else in, and that's Ashley Walters, and he's great. He's fantastic. I think he's a really good actor, and he's a very exciting kid to sort of be around, really,
What do you know about me? I'm Asher flipping D, baby.
He's only 24, and he's very experienced, and and he's got a good movie career now, and he just fitted in great, and he was sort of perfect for Hustle, so it's worked really well.
Ashley Walters has come in as a new character, Billy Bond, who is a sort of rookie in the same way that Danny was a rookie when he sort of joined the gang. I can't believe I'm sitting here with Danny Blue. No, we can hardly believe it ourselves sometimes. It's quite interesting watching the dynamic between Danny and Billy, in as much as Danny has assumed the role of sort of mentor and to Billy, in the same way that Mickey was the mentor to Danny, in the same way that Albert was the mentor to Mickey.
When you have a new character in any show, especially in a show where the group is so cohesive as they are on Hustle, it's always easy to go to just to look at any of the difficulties and how is this character going to fit in with everybody else, and your mind is always full of questions, and you have doubts, and what's going to happen, what's going to be the vibe within the group and between the group, and will this new character upset that vibe and will it therefore upset the show? And you've got all of these questions constantly going on in your head. But I have to say that as soon as Ashley walked in and delivered, well, it wasn't even his first line, it was just the way that he walked in. He worked.
First rule of the con, always have a plan B.
Sorry. What's the first rule again? Can't cheat an honest man or always have a plan B.
Listen, you got to adapt, all right? You got to adapt to whatever situation you find yourself in.
A very wonderful young actor taking his role, Ashley Walters, who is entirely different than Adrian. Adrian's kind of a classical National Theatre actor, and Ashley is actually a rap star in England and a motion picture star, and he's a whole different type of person. And I think he's a wonderful, it was a very wise decision to bring somebody into the show. There's something about Ashley that you look at his face and it can be the sweetest face in the world, and in a blink of an eye he looks terrifying, it scares you to death. And I think the audiences will like that a lot.
I was never up for hustle. They never had me in mind at all. I have a good agent who kind of knocked down some doors and said, "Why are you not seeing Ashley for this? Why have you not called him up?" And they were, I mean, at the time I think they was thinking it wouldn't be my sort of thing, or I wouldn't be able to handle the part, or maybe I wasn't doing acting anymore. So I kind of, they pushed for me, kind of my agency and a few people I knew, and they sent me in for the project. And I fell in love with it, you know. I dedicated myself to it and gave a lot of time to the script and finding out about the character and what it was all about.
Did you find out the same as us?
Don't know.
Well, what did you find out?
All right, 3 things. First, it's a party in room 2319. Drugs are optional. Second, the dealer on the 3rd craps table to the right used to be a man. But don't even think about going there, guys. She's pre-op, so she's still got all the bits.
Well, this year we've got the lovely Ashley Walters working with us, and he was so sweet. He said to me, he said, "Oh, I'd never have thought when I saw you on the telly that I'd end up loving you so much." And I was like, "Aww." So I adore him. I'm a very big fan of Ashley.
You look beautiful.
Basically, I mean, I started acting really when I was like 5, 6 years old. I was with a drama school and whatever, but I was leading 2 separate lives because obviously, I mean, I grew up in Peckham. And I was going to West End to go to Sylvia Young's theatre school and putting on leotards and tap dancing and all sorts. So kind of, I mean, I had 2 passions, you know. I was really into my street, and then I was really into my acting and to my performing arts. But I mean, from there, I mean, I got into music, which was initially a hobby, but ended up joining the Soul Solid crew and doing the whole pirate radio scene and the underground garage scene when it first started.
If you're going to live the life, you might be giving up more than you think.
Had a bad time after that, really, kind of a little low point, and I did a bit of time in jail. I mean, but at that point, that's when I kind of realised a lot of stuff about myself and about what I wanted to do with my life and which way I needed to take it. So coming out, I was really desperate to get back into acting. And fortunately, there was a guy called Saul Dibb who wrote and directed Bullet Boy, who gave me another chance, basically, you know. And from there, I mean, things have just kicked off. And kind of I'm here today, you know, doing Hustle, so. Billy Bond he's a street guy, really. He's not a gangster. He's not. You can't get him twisted in that sense. I think he's a pickpocket, you know. He makes money off calling people and doing the short con and pretending to be other people. But he's always been fascinated and always followed the long con artists. So he knows a lot about Danny Blue and Stacey Monroe and Ash and Albert Stroller. And so he's kind of been following their path for a while and trying to get into that scene. And so there's a vacancy going, and Danny Blue steps up his position. He becomes a leader of the gang. So he's kind of put the word out in the underground with the con artists and that he's looking for a new guy.
He said he'd be willing to train the right person as long as they were A bird,
and B, well fit.
You got it.
I know where they hang out, I know about Eddie's bar and stuff like that, so I make it my job to kind of put myself about. And initially, I mean, they don't want me.
That it?
Yeah. They don't want me in the gang, or Danny doesn't. He's looking for someone else. But I have to prove to them, I have to prove myself. Yes, 20 grand. I mean, that's more money than I've ever seen in my life. But it's yours if you let me in. But after that, I mean, our relationship between Danny Blue and Billy Bond is just like, he wants to be the leader and he wants to teach me a lot. And he kind of treats me like a kid a lot of the time. But I know more than he thinks I do, you know? But I play it down a lot, you know, so.
Tell us how you found Cadillac Jacks. Tell us a little story of the history of Cadillac Jacks.
Well, Cadillac just Dax is just sitting there for filming. It's been a filming location since, God, as far as I can remember, since '83 when I started doing this. And no, it's always been there.
Is the Pink Motel a real motel?
It's a real motel. There's people that stay there, but you've seen it in shoots many times, many commercials, and still shoots, fashion shoots, and so forth. We prepped episode 1, and then we went immediately into shooting episode 6. So we had inadequate prep time on 6 to really lock everything down. So now that we're right in the middle of 6, we're flying by the seat of our pants.
Get ready. You're in the base. You're in the base. That goes on the dolly. You're in the center, yeah. I'm the base.
My name's Don Blocker. I'm a background actor. A lot of us are called extras, but we do a variety of work a lot of shows, a lot of movies, a lot of TV.
And background action. Action.
Pretty soon, one after another, the casinos all began to know the grifters, and you couldn't get a game going anywhere. Every time I walked into the place, I was thrown right out, and I moved on.
Got it, stand by.
Out of here.
How did it go?
Thank you,
It's
gentlemen.
going good.
Inside, then we'll bring you in the bucket.
Getting to the time where we're about to start shooting right now, like within 30 minutes. So it gets really busy right now. Today's we're doing charbroiled fish, which is swordfish. Little Mart is a great place for the filming today. Try to give them a little bit of a variety of menus. Since they're from far away, they get a taste of America. Now I'm done with the veggies, the fish will be done. Sometimes we do 12 to 14 hours. Day, nights. You know, so you have to have hot meals for them at all times.
Today we're in a little place called San Pedro, and it's a waterside community. It's down by Long Beach. It's very gorgeous, and we've gotten some shots that are they look really nice. Right now we're about to do a nice little fun scene with a truck and some talent jumping in and out, so it should be a little bit of fun.
So once you drive in, jump off this side, Mark and Ashley, and when you come out, literally you're just crossing the camera or crossing over there towards that. Which camera here? No, don't worry about that one. You see all of that residue, all of that stuff leaning against that tree? See where Karen is? That's where you're going. Look, straight there, and you should be fine. Okay? All right? The urgency is that the mob could be behind you, you're just not quite sure. Only the mob, not necessarily Johnny Maranzano, but one of his agents or whatever it is.
Right. It's not a sunny day at San Pedro.
No, we need to be out of there.
It's not a walk in the park.
Do I wait for them to get off the truck before I go?
Yes, yeah. You need,
Once everybody else is on the ground, then we'll go.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, can I have one more rehearsal, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let's move out.
Cut. Got a rehearsal. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much.
That's what happens. I got a 2-day bug.
Yeah, I hear you're not well.
Right into the shot. Okay,
I can't eat any food. I'm throwing up.
Be in camera.
Yeah.
See, over here, literally on tight, getting everybody out. See what I'm saying? So we'll do one arrival, say, and then we just need to run it a couple more times with individuals jumping off the back, getting out the front. Obviously, Robert Glenister coming around and exiting frame.
Ready when A-man takes that piece of track so they can walk. One camera only, guys. And it's camera right. Same deal. Thank you.
Mark.
Set. And action.
All right, let's move.
Just Ashley.
We've had such a good month out here, right?
No.
We're staying in West Hollywood, the gay capital. You know, sharing a room in the Chamberlain.
We're shooting a lot of the mob boss scenes, which are really cool. We have some good background that look pretty intimidating.
If you're here doing this phone, so you're doing the actual phone, doing the number, and then I'll say freeze.
Background action.
Freeze! Track! Unfreeze!
Okay, I'm here. Where you at?
Right, you sure you can drive this, baby?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, yonder.
And action.
Here we have liftoff.
Guys, we do get out of this, yeah? What do you think I should spend my share on?
Got a long way to go yet, Billy.
Yeah, but if we do.
I like a world cruise. With marks as far as the eye can see.
I don't swim. I'm not a very strong swimmer at all, and I get very seasick. So I had a lot of seasickness, and I was just dreading basically falling into the water. There was a lot of shots we had to do where we're kind of stranded in the middle of the sea or whatever, and we're in a little rubber dinghy, and there's 5 of us, so at any time it could really go over. We had a lot of safety people out there with us and everything, but I've still beaten a bit, you know.
All right, get Kevin in the water. Have him walk back towards the raft.
It's thrilling to be here. There's no question, because it's the rich heritage. You know, it's sort of where the Hollywood studios are, and and that's obviously why we're here. The first episode deals with that story of the Hollywood sign. It's very exciting. In terms of practically day to day, it's not very different. The length of the day is pretty similar. The speed of the crews are pretty similar. There's always been that myth, I think British crews are great, whatever. There's no question they are, but I haven't found that kind of to be a problem in terms of acclimatizing to coming here and speaking different languages and that sort of thing.
The camera's gonna go up there.
Fantastic.
And then when we're ready, we're gonna go there, right there. And then we're gonna put it there.
And then we're gonna get it in here.
Exactly.
Right in here. The debris.
We came to work with Checo as a cinematographer, essentially because we saw his show reel. You know, when we were out there, we had to find a DOP to shoot it. We saw several reels. We saw his, and it blew us all away. He'd shot some dramas, a couple of features, some pilots, a lot of commercials, and a lot of promos. And really, his reel had that slick, sheen, beautiful, composed look that we really wanted for Hustle. Of course, you know, the challenge is that, for example, on his reel, he's got a promo shot by Salma Hayek of Prince, which they shot in I think it was in Morocco. And this is a 3-minute video, and it's absolutely beautiful. When I saw that, that's when I knew that I wanted Checo.
2 months ago, my agent called me and said, well, we'll submit your resume and your reel to a British program called Hustle. It shows in AMC, so check it out. And so I checked it out. I went to the internet, and I was fascinated about the look and the characters. And I said, well, yeah, of course. So then I went to the interview with Ulrich Riley, our director, and I guess they liked the reel, and I did well in the interview. It's a very unique look for a European show. When I say European show, they have a different look. They're more cinema verite, if anything. In Hustle, is very on your face. It's very bright. It's very colorful. It's very hustle. And I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was a fantastic job you guys are doing there. I think in London, the cinematographers and the production designers and the whole production did a fantastic job for the last 4 seasons, or how many they are. And I thought it was a challenge. We just, Steadicam is still looking that way. We'll do this thing, and then they're there, and the boat is there. And then we turn around with the low mo. I know the first seasons were shot in 16mm in film, and this season is shot in HD. So it was also another challenge to keep the same texture and the same depth and the same look, changing mediums, film versus HD. There are advantages and disadvantages. Mainly, it's still like a violin. You can buy a Stradivarius, but it depends on the violinist. It's HD and film are great, both of them. Depends who plays the violin. In the case of the director, in the case of the cinematographer, in the case of the crew. So it looks as good as we are. It won't look better than us. We made it, so it looks as good as we are. Or as bad as we are, doesn't matter.
Whatever, Ulrich, we'll take care of it. You got that?
Ulrich has already directed 2 episodes of Hustle. He directed 2 episodes of the second series, which he directed certainly my favourite episode. And I think he has great visual flair. And, you know, we have 2 terrific scripts that Tony Jordan's written for these 2 US episodes. And so I think we were very conscious of coming out to America with a director who would capture, you know, we here with the marina, and, you know, we've had some amazing locations. We were at the Bellage Hotel on top of the roof, the pool, and, you know, so we didn't want a director who was just going to shoot it, you know, just my head and whatever. You wanted someone who could capture in a sort of visually exciting way. I think he's incapable of, you know, composing an ugly frame.
What we need, a shot which pulls out for as wide as you can go.
I think Ulrich did a fantastic job. I mean, it's a really tough gig to do, you know, with the time pressures, the fact that, you know, the different crew, the fact that, you know, shooting in a different country, you know, all those things, which made taking Hustle to the States such a huge thing. I think he managed, you know, it fantastically. I think that Hustle had a reputation for production values anyway, about it all being there on a screen and about it looking as good as the American glossy series have ever looked. And I think for Ulrich to achieve that with all the restrictions and all the difficulties he had was fantastic.
We talked about getting an American director in. You know, it was certainly a possibility. But I think ultimately, and I think it's the right decision, we've got someone who you know, who's come over here, and it is absolutely, you know, 2 episodes of Hustle. It's not, we're not trying to achieve something different or new.
Right, I've got an idea.
Okay, Jolyon Simmons was our new producer for this series, and we had a lot of fun because, of course, the big difference between the old shows, where we were all based in the UK, and this one is where 2/3 are in the UK, and then a third of it is in America, of course, which presents a whole lot of challenges. So effectively, Jolyon had to produce shows in the UK, prep in America, but also oversee all of the shows that were happening right here in London.
I produced a number of movies, including Kevin and Perry Go Large, another film called The Last Yellow, and last year I produced a drama for Granada called Whatever Love Means, based on the relationship between Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles. And then I started on Hustle earlier this year.
This shot better be in the DVD extras, I tell you. It's costing a fortune. He's paying.
One day, well, there were several days which was really good, but there was one day in particular where we had to shoot a sequence on a boat. It was at the end of episode 6, where the team needed to escape on a small yacht. And of course, the day was riddled with problems because we don't have much time to shoot. We have scenes on the water, which is a nightmare. We have scenes where the boat has to go out with the whole team on it. We have a scene on a dinghy in the water, in the sea. So everything just like compounds. But actually, when we were out there, especially when it came to dusk, and we're sitting on this yacht and we're setting up a shot and the whole team are there and we're driving out on this boat into the sea, and none of us could actually believe that we were actually being paid to do this, because it was just so beautiful. And so, we had a lot of fun with Jolyon, a lot of fun.
What we're saying is that out there, a boat has just exploded, and you're just normal people who are just here looking out at the view, and then a lovely boat, it's that boat actually that's out there, has literally exploded into smithereens.
All right, guys, and roll camera.
And bang! Cut!
Where are we? What is it? I don't even know where I am. We're doing a Big Daddy scene. We're in the studio. I can't remember what the studio is called. What's it? Sunset Gower. There you go.
So here we are at our Las Vegas set. We're doing the Big Daddy slot machine today, where one lucky winner can win $5 million. But our hustle crew is out to get that money for themselves. Spent a little bit of the morning setting up. There had been a couple issues, but we're moving pretty quickly now. Set looks great. They've brought in some slot machines, brought in a lot of different props. The lighting's just, very Vegas-esque style. And yeah, we're ready to get a move on. We're here for 2 more days, and we'll be off to the real thing.
Today we're in the Sunset Gower studios. We're filming a scene basically, we set up a scene here, which is going to be the casino. This is the last episode of the series of the season. And basically we're taking the casino for like 5 million. So this is the big one for us.
You got 2 seconds when I say go.
I love Dean Martin.
Mr. Martin was a true gentleman. Hey, drink like a fish.
All right, ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1.
The casino machine that we're shooting with today is called the Big Daddy, and the jackpot is 5 million. And we're going to steal that. I mean, we're con artists, and as a team, we're the best, you know? We hustle.
I'm gonna need to look in your gear.
It's one of the best places I could be right now. I mean, I've got plans for the future, but I really would like to stick with the show as long as possible and see it grow.
I think it's a great show, and I hope that in the future that there's going to be a lot more. I think that it would be fantastic if there was much more of an international angle. I think that going to the States was absolutely a right decision. I'd certainly like to see more episodes shot out there, but also more episodes shot in Europe, in Paris, in Spain, Morocco, all of these things in Monaco, all of these things, all of these places, all of those cities, to me, are natural places for the Hustle team to be.
The next thing for Hustle, hopefully, is Hustle movie. I'm writing a Hustle screenplay now for Fox, which is late, but only by a week or so. So the rest of this week and most of next week is going to be taken up with that. So hopefully that will work. And we're talking with the BBC now about a Series 5 and if that can happen and when it can happen, which of the cast will be available if we chose to do that. So, you know, it's all kind of up in the air at the minute, but, I think there'll be a Series 5.
Fantastic, I'm wrapped! Hold the interview, I'm going home!
I take out garbage, which is like the best part of my day, oh my God. I like live for taking people's garbage out.
Who are you and what are you doing here?
We're just, we're actors on the show Hustle.
Wait. I like how you said that. We just say, who are we? What are you doing here?
Hey, who are you?
It's not Julie Walters, that's Ashley. It's Mr. Vaughan, Robert Vaughan.
You're not going to talk to us about the last episode?
Yeah, the last episode. It's all about these chairs.
Guys, this is for you, buddy. The cameraman's only what, 11? Yeah, why are you laughing?
Keep laughing?
I said, why are you laughing? You don't
you guys are a bunch of punks and phonies.
Get him!
Now what? Do I do Santa Claus? Daffy Duck?